without further ado, it is my pleasure to welcome and introduce to you Therese Flaherty, who is our moderator for today's program. Therese, take it away.
Well, thank you very much, Marla, and thank you to all my good friends at wonderful programs. I think Kitty is my newest friend who's been working in small business development in our region, but I know all of the folks who are here with us today and those who view the recording over the next week or so will very much enjoy the program and find that there's a lot of information in it. So our topic, as Marla told us earlier, is the missing ingredient. Really, the missing ingredient often in growing a wonderful business is business education and mentoring. And so today we have programs that are focused not so much on starting your business, but on once you have a business going, how do you get more help so you're not just the lonely entrepreneur or the lonely leader. And we do have at this point a richness of programs in the city ready to help, ready to support entrepreneurs. This morning, I want to first of all welcome you. I know we have a number of participants, and what we're going to do is, could you show our next slide, please? Here we go. Here's our agenda. We're doing welcome and introductions, and this morning our introductions are going to be of the programs and the speakers for each program a little bit later. That seems to work best in a business Zoom webinar. But we want to introduce our audience first, and then we'll actually have a poll, which will take about a minute, and our technical support team is going to put that up in a moment. You'll have a minute to answer the questions, and then we'll have a chance to see a little bit about the folks who are with us in person today and where they come from, what kind of business they have. And then because the number of audience members is not too large at the moment, we're going to ask each of the people who are audience participants to introduce themselves very briefly. If you're thinking about this, you'll be telling us your name, your business, if you have one, and what it is that has attracted you to the programs we're going to be talking about today and to our program this morning. What do you want to be sure to learn? And those introductions are going to take like 15 seconds apiece, so not very long, but we'll have an awareness of who's with us in this Zoom webinar. And then at that point, we'll move over and introduce one at a time the programs and the speakers we have this morning. I'm imagining that most of our participants are entrepreneurs themselves, and it will be not surprising to you to know that most of the speakers this morning have also been entrepreneurs. They're going to be speaking to you in the roles of the nonprofits and the support programs they're leading at this point, but many of them have had businesses or actually are now leading quite successful businesses. So lots of real experience here. Basically, our program introductions, our speakers are each going to take between 5 and 8 minutes. And then we'll have a good long time, I hope over half an hour, for discussion and for questions and answers. So if you were on early, you heard that we are suggesting you can put your questions and your own introduction, if you'd like, in the chat at any point in time, and we'll all see them if you like. You can put questions that you want to ask anonymously in the Q&A, and if you'd like to raise your hand, you can speak your question to the group. So there are a few ways in which we'll be looking at your questions. We'll try to take those after all the program speeches have been done. So I think you know most of the ways now to speak to us and to register your questions. You also know that you're going to be able to access a recording on the PIDC website of this webinar for a week. And I'm also happy to tell you that PIDC will be sending out copies of the slides from this to all the people who've registered and come and to the program. And that means you'll be able to see the technical information, contact information that you're particularly interested in for each of the programs. You'll have a record of that you can refer to later. Okay. Marla, have I left anything out?
Therese, you've done wonderfully. We're ready.
Okay, let's try the poll. So if you're a panelist, please don't do the poll. You can see that most of the people who are in our audience today have been in business for more than 5 years, and all but one have more than 3 years experience in business. So that's exactly right. A couple of our programs you'll see do require, they're most valuable really when a person has been in business for more than 3 years. So just about everybody's relevant for those. And then we have a few that are ready for you no matter. How many people work in your business, including yourself? Not very large, but some of our businesses have quite a few. So we have everybody has somebody, and one even has over 50 employees. So interesting. I think these programs will be helpful to everyone. And then what are the folks who are here interested in? Peer-based learning, lots of interest in Power Up Your Business. Naboo semicircle. Advisory boards, not so many. Well, we have some interesting things to say to you. And BRIC, what you're going to find is that almost everybody wants to be interested in BRIC. And I think that would be the PIDC message to all of you. It would be mine as well. For research, they are unparalleled. And we have interest throughout our programming. So I want to thank you all very much. That's who we are. There we go. Okay. Now what we're hoping is we can go to, now you know demographically a little bit about who's on our call and in our audience. And wonderful, wonderful, Carl. We know who's in our audience, but we'd like to ask you to introduce yourselves. And if Alex and I are in good shape, you can see the order in which we'd like you to introduce yourselves. If you click on the participant button at the bottom of your screen, can you all see that? And you'll see panelists and attendees. And right now I'm seeing 13 attendees. What I want to do is let you know the order in which you'll be speaking. So is it Ada Romero? I think Alex has to make it possible for you to speak. Is that right?
Yes.
Maybe you could do that. Did Ada Romero just click off because she doesn't want to speak?
No, I'm here.
She's on screen, yes. You should be able to turn on your camera if you feel comfortable as well.
Okay. And you know, Alex, this is going to go more smoothly if you announce the person who's going to speak and then let the next person know. If you want to look at your list yourself, you can see it in the participant group, but Alex will run this so we don't waste time.
Good morning. My name is Ada Romero with GNR Contractors Group. And I'm here to learn anything that I can help with the business. We have a construction business, small construction business in Philadelphia.
Thank you.
All right, next up we have Angela Havens, and then after that we'll have Angela Nagasco. Are you with us, Angela?
Hi, yes. My name is Angela Havens. I'm the owner of Amatoula's Treasures Boutique, a women's boutique located in the Overbrook section of Philadelphia, specializing in unique one-of-a-kind items for discerning women. I want to grow my business and take it to the next level.
Great, thank you. Next we have Angela Nagasco, and then we'll have Carol Ann Fernandez. Go ahead, Angela.
I'm sorry.
Introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My
You're okay.
computer had disconnected for a second. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Angela Magasco. I am the president of Naboo, Greater Philadelphia, and I am also the founder and owner of Heart of Bliss Yoga.
Great, thank you. So next up we have Carol Ann, and then we'll have Diane Connor.
Hi, I'm Carol Ann Fernandez. Sorry. I am part of Glen Eagle, a women-owned wealth management firm, and we specialize in 401ks for business owners. And I am taking over the Semicircle program in about a year. So I'm excited to share any information on that with anyone who's interested. Thanks.
Great, thank you. We'll have Diane, and then we'll have Jasmine Hawkins. Diane, are you with us?
There we go. Yep, I am. Sorry about that.
No problem.
No doubt. My name's Diane Connor. I'm a owner and partner of a company called Modern Strategic Branding and Communications, and I'm very happy to be here.
Great, thanks. So now we have Jasmine, and then we'll have Crystal Jackson.
Hello, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my name is Jasmine Hawkins. I am the president and co-founder of the nonprofit Urgent 365. And separately from that, I am an artist, a writer and editor under the brand Ms. Jazz. And I'm here to learn as much as possible because my background is in education.
Great, thanks. Up next, we have Crystal, and then we'll have Mara Shanker. Crystal, I think you're muted.
Hi, my name is Crystal Jackson. I'm just getting into business, trying to learn as much as possible legally before I get started with my name and everything like that. So I won't be sharing too much about my business. I just need to get as much advice as I can.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Maura Shanker, and I am the director of the Small Business Development Center at Temple University, and I'm thrilled to be here.
Great, thanks, Maura. Up next, we have Michelle Simone, and then we'll have Tamika Took. Michelle, are you there?
Hey, I'm here. I am Michelle Simone. I'm with the Hinge Cafe in Port Richmond in Philadelphia. We've been in business for 17 years and always willing to learn more. Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle. And next up, we have Tamika, and then we'll have Tracy Berry.
Hello, my name is Tamika Took. I run Read Into It, which is leasing and real estate. I've been in business for a while, but it's kind of hands off. So I want to kind of be more hands on. So I want to learn more.
Great, thank you. Next up, we have Tracy, and I'm going to pop back up to Carl. It looks like he came a little late. Tracy, are you there?
I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm Tracy, and I'm the owner of All Things Philly Boutique. It's an online boutique that's actually just about to launch, and we're featuring Philly-centric branded apparel inspired by the rich history of Philly. And I'm excited about just learning as much as I can. It's my first attempt at an online business, and I hope within the next 3 to 6 months to also open up a storefront.
All right, great. Thank you. And Carl, you're up last but not least.
So I finally got this to work. So I'm calling you from Germany. I'm living near Frankfurt, Germany. I'm originally from Philadelphia. Ms. Kitty, you invited me. This is about my third business and in Europe, and I'm always looking to hear new ideas. I went from being an investment banker to having a travel agency, and now I'm running a headhunter company for 50 plus candidates. So thanks for having me.
Great, that's amazing.
It is. So Alex, we've introduced everyone?
Yes.
Great. Welcome all of you. And Carl, what a treat. Are you ever coming back to Philadelphia to work or just enjoying Germany?
I can let Carl.
Well, in any event,
No, I'm sorry. Yeah,
I'm sorry. Yeah, are you going to be working in the Philadelphia area or doing business here as well as in Germany or mainly in Europe?
I hope to expand to America because I'm sure if it works here in Germany, it's got to work everywhere. And I am coming home to visit in August, so I definitely want to see what I can do because I think there's a problem with hiring 50 plus people everywhere in the world. So looking to expand to the USA and of course to Philadelphia, my hometown.
We love it. Well, welcome and have a great visit when you get here. So the next part of our program is the core, which is to introduce to each of the people in our audience some important programs that have been helping business owners in Philadelphia, business mentoring especially. And the first one has a lot of interest according to our survey and our poll. It's the peer-based learning experience from Power Up Your Business. Kitty Dior is the program coordinator. And I would actually like to say Kitty, like many of our panelists today, is an entrepreneur. Kitty, tell us just a little bit about your own business journey in the Caribbean, as well as about your program today. And then I know Alex is going to be using your slides.
Okay.
Welcome.
So, yeah, thank you again for having me, Teresa and Marla. And to give you, I'm going to try to condense this all. My great-grandparents came from Eleuthera in the Bahamas, and they had 14 children, and they were business owners. My great-grandfather owned a 200-acre farm outside of Philadelphia and sold tomatoes to Campbell Soup. He was also a minister and had a church that he purchased and paid for. I was 12 before I went to a different church and didn't realize how much money other people had to generate, because my grandfather fully supported financially his church. Like meals were always free. I went other churches and they charged money. It was shocking to me. But I understand that most other churches have to run more like a business, where for my grandfather, it was really his heart and his soul, and all of his money went to that. My great-grandmother owned an employment agency, a grocery store, and was in real estate. And this is at the time of the Great Depression. And at that time, they together helped people emigrate from the South who were moving north to help them find food, shelter, clothing, and worship. And really helped a lot of Black people buy property. And at that time, they would have they couldn't get mortgages from banks. So it had to be other philanthropists that provided the mortgage money in order to fuel all that. Now they had 14 kids. Every single one of them had that island intention of like, you only got one business. If anybody remembers Living Color. Only got one business, man? No, you're lazy. You know, you need to have 4 businesses. So I grew up in a family where that is how people work. My grandmother had a real estate office that was also a tax office. She was a florist and a caterer. And that was the pattern that I saw. So as a 6-year-old, I went to a school that was on a farm. My cousin also went to the school and got a cotton candy machine for Christmas. And the first thing I said when I saw it is, we can make a ton of money. So my first business started at 6. I invented the nickel bag full of cotton candy at age 6. But anyway, as an adult, I'm trying to just condense this a bit, but while I was in college, I was doing store window displays, and this was in the 80s. So I didn't understand the background politics of that, but it led me to start a business. First doing window displays, then I saw what the missing thing was, which was jewelry. I ended up becoming a jewelry designer. My company went on to sell nationally. I had a counter at Saks Fifth Avenue, 5 locations. I was at Neiman Marcus and many small boutiques during that time. And I had a partnership that wasn't working that I was married into. So with the divorce came the end of the business. And at that point I switched, I went back to school again and became a gemologist, a specialist in diamonds. I worked on Jewelers Row in Philly. And then in '96, after those terrible snowstorms, I got a job in St. Thomas. First, I was gonna only stay for 6 months. I stayed for 9.5 years. I moved from sales to management to then becoming a wholesale rep in the Caribbean. My territory was the Caribbean, and I sold high-end jewelry, diamonds, and watches, carrying tons of suitcases full of millions of dollars worth of merchandise to a different island every week. And when the economy changed in the early 2000s, that model didn't work anymore. So I came back to Philadelphia. I got 2 degrees. The second one was an MBA in innovation. And with that, also a determination to try to spread this information as much as possible to the small business owners that I knew from my family, from my life, from my neighborhood, and all that. So that's how I ended up with Power Up. You're muted, Therese. Therese, you're muted. You're muted still.
Your slides. I remind everybody, because I know your slides are packed with information, that we will send out the slides afterwards, so nobody has to worry about getting all the details.
Yes. Okay, so who's starting the slides? I don't see them.
Alex is.
Okay. All right. So this is Power Up Your Business. That's featuring one of our graduates. It's a free program. And we provide the type of training that business owners don't get. And from my own experience, I can vouch for that. Jewelry making, art education does not include business training, but neither does dental, hair salon, any of those things. So the nuts and bolts of what you need to run a business and operate it isn't taught in whatever profession you're in. So on the next slide, I can tell you a little bit about how we got started. And basically it was during the time when one of the things you might remember is how so many cities were vying for Amazon to come to the city. And they were talking about all these massive giveaways of everything. And during one of those city council meetings, it was Sherelle Parker who said, what are we doing for the local business owners in our city? And they used as a model the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses program, which is also at community college, and you can see it there. But the criteria to get into this program far exceeded and stripped out a lot of the neighborhood business owners. So that was our target. So on the next slide, what you'll see is sort of an overview of what is offered via community college, Slice, and also some of our other partners. And if you're in the startup and part-time area, there are programs for that. For anyone at any level of business, the number 2 block is for anyone who just needs good business advice. 3 is where Power Up, the peer-based learning program falls in. You must be in business 1 year or more and operating within Philadelphia city limits. And number 4 illustrates what the Goldman Sachs program is. You must have 4 employees, be self-supporting, open 2 years or more, and you can be in any state. And on the next slide, this is for those who are at the early stage. Next slide, please. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I went 2 slides ahead. So anyway, yeah, sorry. Okay, this is where I need to be. Well, I explained this part, so I think we're good on that. Next slide, please. Okay, if you're just starting, the Philly iHub, we wrote the program that they use, which covers a business model canvas. This is a free 6-week program. To learn about a business model canvas at Harvard costs about $3,500 for 3 webinars and a in-person class in Boston. To learn about it from Strategizer costs about $2,000 for a weekend. But here it's 6 weeks and it's free. And typically they would be in Germantown, but right now they're online. And also the LA21 CDC is another group we've partnered with, and they focus on the basic nuts and bolts, licenses, legal, all that kind of stuff. Crystal, I know we've emailed each other. This is one of the programs that will help you get all that stuff straight. Next slide, please. So I talked about the number 2 block, which is what we call our store owner series. No, you do not have to be a store owner. These are free classes. They're webinars that are usually 1 or 2 hours. And this is the next slate of them coming up. The gentleman here is a graduate of our 12-week program and has a business in the Fox Chase area called Fox Chase Lock and Key. But anyway, on the left side of the screen, you'll see that we're doing a Facebook marketing class, reaching customers with Google. The next few are with Google. And for all of those people who feel experienced in business, keep in mind that 5 years ago, probably none of this was important for your business. You didn't need to know 10 years ago about Facebook or Google or any of that. So this is the real push behind why everybody on this panel has something to offer you, because things keep changing around you. And in order to keep up, you need to continually re-educate yourself on that. On the next slide, what we talk about here is our industry best practices series. This is different from peer-based learning, but again, what we do is we focus on a specific industry and drill down on the best practices for that industry, okay? And right now, our current one coming up is for restaurants. We've done them in the past for childcare, for the beauty business. Moving forward, we're looking at several other things, other categories. And you could take this class, industry best practices, and also take peer-based learning, which is a 12-week program, because the 12-week program called peer-based learning is about your general foundational things that all businesses use. And that's equal no matter what business you're in. And then this one, industry best practices, will focus on that. Next slide, please. So the 12-week peer-based learning, we have another round due. We do it 3 times a year. And we want to get you in this class if your business is a year old and in Philadelphia. Next slide, please. I'm going a little over and I'm going to try and wrap this up quickly. You'll get this. This is another graduate, oldest Black-owned bookstore in the country. And then also, next slide, please. This gives you sort of an overview and a few testimonials from past graduates of the program and the types of businesses that usually sign up for peer-based learning, which is the 12-week program. Next slide, please. And that is it. Thank you very much. Also, you can find us on our website or you can email me directly. All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kitty. And a reminder to everybody, you'll get a copy of all those slides with all that wonderful information. Now, and you'll also have a chance to ask Kitty questions. So if you put your questions in the Q&A now, we'll have them for her when we get to the Q&A period. The next person I'd like to introduce is Fernandez Parmet, another very old friend of mine. We're all, let's call us experienced. Anna is one of the founders and the president and CEO of Parmet, Inc., which she will tell you about, but is quite a prominent tech business in the area. And she's also the immediate past president of Naboo Greater Philadelphia. This morning, she's going to tell us about the Semicircle program from Naboo. Over to Alex and Anna.
Thank you so much, Therese. Good morning, everybody. And yes, Therese, you've been a friend of Naboo for a long time, and I know you way back from Wharton too. My company, Parmet, actually did some programs through the Wharton SBDC many years ago, and Therese has been a friend for a long time. So good morning. I'm very happy to be here, and that was fascinating. Katura or Kitty, that was awesome to hear your story and to hear about Power Up. And definitely Naboo and Power Up need to talk, because we need to be strategic partners, just like we are with PIDC. And we have the Temple SBDC in the audience. So definitely we're stronger together, and we can have, share resources for our members and those business owners we want to empower. Just real quickly, just to say, I'm not going to tell you the whole story because I really want to focus on Semicircle. However, I'm a first generation Cuban American, and my grandparents and my great grandparents were also business owners. There's a lot of that heritage of, and it really made me think about my grandparents and my great grandparents as you were telling your story. So thank you for that. So I am the president of Parmet Inc. We were 30 years old in January. We are an office equipment solutions, technology solutions provider, and we are located in Havertown. And I have been a member of Naboo. Some of you may not know what Naboo stands for. So it's the National Association of Women Business Owners. It is the only dues-based organization for women business owners in the United States. It is a national organization with 50+ chapters around the country. Philadelphia is one of the larger chapters, and I have been a member of Naboo for probably around 22 years now. So Naboo has been a mainstay for me in just building my network and just learning so many things as a woman business owner. So my main function today is to tell you about the Semicircle. The Semicircle is a program that was created by Naboo Philadelphia 4 years ago. So we're in our 4th cohort. The program, I think, Alex, we can go to the next slide. The program basically runs for a full year. So our participants have to be members of Naboo. And it runs for a full year. And basically what the program participants receive is a mentor for the year. We also have a mastermind, which is basically a virtual monthly session that runs a full year, that is facilitated by somebody who has been professionally trained in the peer-spective method from the Edwards Lowe's Foundation in Michigan. The peer-spective method is basically focused on peer learning. And then there's also podcasts, which are live podcast interviews with basically successful women business owners. And you can listen to them live. Also, there's a library of the podcasts that all of our participants have access to. We facilitate introductions to resources and something like, for instance, something like, maybe like connecting with a program with Power Up, just as an example, or PIDC. We try to offer up the resources, and also with our other business owners, the other members of Naboo throughout the country who are a tremendous resource, and a lot of them actually serve as mentors. And this is we're 2021, we're in our 4th cohort, and the program has been growing every year. We're very, very pleased with it. And I'm actually have the hopefully it'll all go well. I have the joy to share with you a video that we just had produced, which really tells the story of the Semicircle. So hopefully all is going to go well, and you'll all see the debut of the Semicircle video, which tells the story of our program. Alex, if you could roll the video, that'd be awesome.
I wanted to create something that would allow our businesses to get to that $1 million mark, to get to that brass ring.
Naboo has always been about advocacy, looking out for your needs as a small business owner, as a woman business owner.
The format of the program is based on 4 pillars. There's a mastermind, there's a mentor component, there's a podcast component, and there was something called the quarterly dinner component.
It really is designed to get the participants to really be able to hone in and focus in on their core issues, business issues and personal issues. It's not about giving advice, it's really about sharing experience.
Semicircle asks, what kind of mentor are you looking for? They don't just do it based on your industry.
My mentor experience was incredible.
My mentor experience was really powerful. She provided a ton of valuable information for me, which is why I decided to re-up
Why did you agree to be a mentor for the Naboo Philadelphia Semicircle program?
Naboo's always been about the opportunity to give back.
This was probably the best experience I've had mentoring.
I think what surprised me the most, again, was how much I learned going through the process.
It's confidential, that it's just the two of you guys working together, and there's an intimacy about that that makes it very, very rewarding.
We measure at the end of the year whether our members have achieved their goals, number one, and number two, grown their business.
They were constantly asking, what can we be adding that we haven't been providing yet? What can we be giving you? And then do a really good job of adjusting it. So each year it's gotten better. I think if you're considering joining the semicircle, I would say do it.
I think that Naboo has gone above and beyond by making this program available at such an affordable rate that I don't know why there aren't every single member of the chapter signing up, because it's such a great deal.
Thank you, Alex. So basically that's the program. That's the highlights. You heard from participants and you also heard from some of our mentors. We started the process about 1.5 years ago with getting a lot of the B-roll and everything. And the last piece was going to be the video interviews, which we were hoping to do at an event that was supposed to happen live last May, which didn't happen. And then the whole project got on hold, as so many things did during our COVID tide. So we finished up the interviews finally via Zoom so that we could complete the project. And that's why you saw some interactions in person. The quarterly dinners were in person. Right now, they're quarterly sessions via Zoom, where we give resources and information and education. And we look with optimism to the future where we can get back to quarterly dinners. And that's basically it for now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anna. Let me say I've been a mentor this year, and it has been rewarding, very rewarding, to work with someone who actually makes a plan every month and follows up on it and really moves her business forward. It's been a total pleasure. So thank you, and congratulations on the video. That's going to be powerful. Our next speaker is Kimberly Stout. Kim is from the SBA out in King of Prussia, and she runs a very exciting program called the Emerging Leaders Initiative. I'm going to turn it over now to Kim and to Alex.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. As you have heard, my name is Kim Stout. I'm an economic development specialist for the U.S. Small Business Administration. I'm out of the Eastern Pennsylvania District Office, which covers Philadelphia, but the 40 eastern counties of Pennsylvania. I am the program manager for Emerging Leaders, so we'll dive into that program a little bit, but I just wanted to reinforce the number of resources that are available to you in Philadelphia. As you've heard the programs prior to me, or the programs coming up and the programs that we just heard about, the best thing to know as an entrepreneur, regardless of what stage you're in, there's resources out there to assist you, and you don't have to do it alone. Many of them are very affordable. Some of them are actually no cost to you. And that kind of leads into my program here, the Emerging Leaders Program. Of course, the U.S. Small Business Administration is a federal agency. We support small businesses, whether you're starting a business, growing a business, expanding, and of course, recovering. We've been 95% of my time has been assisting in disaster assistance since last March. And we were unable to offer the Emerging Leaders Program in 2020, but we're currently running the 2021 program virtually. So typically with the Emerging Leaders Program, if you can go to the next slide, Alex, please. You can go to the next, I think maybe slide 4 after my picture. You can go to the next one. There we go. So the Emerging Leaders, back up one more, please. There we go. Thank you. So the Emerging Leaders Program is an intensive program that we only run once a year because it's a 7-month program. So I'm talking to you about this in May. We actually do our heavy recruiting just after the holidays in January and February. And then I conduct interviews in March so that we can select 20 CEOs, small businesses that attend this class. This current year, 2021, I had over 100 applicants for this program and had to conduct interviews to narrow it down to the 20. So it's a very selective process. And my biggest concern when I'm having conversations and doing the interview is making sure that the small business owner, the CEO, is truly ready to dedicate their time on working on their business and taking that time away from their business to actually sit down and focus on a growth plan, attend classes. We have 13 sessions that are 3 hours long. They're typically held every other Wednesday. So we meet currently from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. every other Wednesday and cover a number of topics, which I'll get to in a minute here. With this particular program, each CEO or participant is going to develop a growth plan for their business. This program is not for startups. This program is solely focused on individuals who have been in business for 3 years or more, have gross revenues of at least $250,000 or more, and have at least one employee other than themselves. The reason that we ask that you have another employee other than just you is because the time that you're going to be taking away from the business, working on your growth plan, coming to classes, we want to make sure you have somebody that you're able to delegate responsibilities to, so that when you're in class, you can actually turn off your phone, silence your phone, and focus on working on your business. As I said, it's 13 sessions. However, there's classwork in between each session that you're going to be working on too. So overall, it's at least 100 hours that you're going to be dedicating over a 7-month period to working on your business. We do run the program from April to October. During that time, you're meeting with CEO mentoring groups. We're giving you resources to really focus on your small business. The owners are going to evaluate their business. They're going to set realistic growth goals, and we're going to develop goals and milestones for you to achieve over the next couple of years. If you can go to the next slide for me, please. This is just the current schedule that we have, and I can see that it's very small, but you'll get these slides. You'll be able to see what each session covers. The first session, the first module, we actually just wrapped up with the 2021 program. It's focusing on goal setting. It's focusing on strategic planning. Our next module is focused on financials. So we actually spend 3 sessions, 3 hours each session, focusing on financials, looking at your actual numbers, developing plans, and having experts come in, like expert CPAs, accountants, bookkeepers, loan officers, people like that, who actually can educate you a little bit more about what your numbers are saying to those that are reviewing them. After that, we do focus on marketing and sales. Then we move into different resources that are available to help you expand your small business. For example, we have individuals that come in from my office and from our procurement technical assistance centers that talk about government contracting. We have HR resources that come in and assessing new capital. So ways that you can acquire funding if you need to. The whole goal of this program is to develop the growth plan, and that is presented at the very last session. So all of our CEOs, all of our 20 participants will actually develop a plan and actually present that in class. We break into smaller groups, and we have our experts come back and provide feedback to our small businesses. If you can go to the next slide, please. The research is based on Boston University. We do work with a third party, Interise. They've developed this curriculum. They do keep it very confidential, I guess you could say. They keep it very close to them so that it doesn't leak out. But we do want to make sure that people understand that this is a program that there has been a lot of research to help develop it, so that it is a thorough understanding of how a small business owner can continue to grow and expand their small businesses. Next slide, please. Hugh Connolly is our instructor. I'm the facilitator of the program. However, Interrise does hire an instructor. This person, the instructor, actually helps through the class. Hugh has been with us for 9 years. He's fantastic. He comes with a lot of expertise. He's been an entrepreneur. He works in lending. He really does very well with our CEOs and our small businesses and develops that relationship. He checks in with them on a regular basis. This is the 11th year that the Philadelphia area has offered the Emerging Leaders Program. Actually, I think the 12th. So we have a long list of graduates that have stayed with us. We stay in contact with them. And amazingly, in the 9 years that Hugh Connolly has been our instructor, he also has stayed in touch with our CEO graduates and continues to mentor them along the way as well. Next slide, please. Just so you know, I went through this, so you can go to the next slide. And I think the next one is fine too. And again, this is just the requirements. I discussed this a little bit earlier. This is not for startups. This is for existing businesses. We only have 20 seats available every single year. So like I said, it is an intensive interview process. I want to make sure that each one of our CEOs is able to dedicate the time. Also, if you can go to the next slide, please. I just want to reiterate that this is no cost to our small businesses. And I think I'm actually just going to stop the slides there because the only thing I wanted to point out is anything that you do through the Small Business Administration is that we're a federal agency, so tax dollars pay for our programs and our services. With the Emerging Leaders Program, this actually has a value of $20,000. So this is something that a participant, again, we want to make sure you're able to dedicate your time and get something out of this because this is the value of the program. $20,000 essentially that each participant is getting in value so that they can continue to grow their businesses. We provide a lot of resources. We stay in touch with you afterwards. You know, I've been the program manager for 4 years and I hear from my CEO graduates all of the time. And especially during 2020, we've been able to connect with them to make sure that they're continuing their small businesses and being successful and getting the resources that they need. So with that, I'll go ahead and end my talk. If you have questions, I'll be here to take them afterwards. And here's my contact information. If you are interested in applying for the 2022 program, you can submit your application online now, but we do not heavily recruit to this program until the beginning of each year. So that will be January of 2022. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Kimberly. That was terrific. And just so you know, Carl and Michelle have raised their hands. And Carl and Michelle, we're going to wait until the Q&A to have you actually speak your questions to Kimberly. Okay, so our next speaker is Maria Basaggio. She's going to be talking about advisory boards. And I should tell you, Maria and I have worked for, I think, over 10 years together pretty closely in nonprofits, putting together different advisory boards in the region. And she too is someone with both a corporate career and an entrepreneurial experience. So to Maria and Alex.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Trez. And you're right. I've enjoyed the time that we worked together, and we've both been able to get rewarded by seeing the business owners that we've helped with various advisory boards on other programs and just see where they have taken their business. So it's very rich, rewarding, and so forth. But as Trez alluded to, my experience, yes, I spent many years in the corporate world, but what was interesting is I realized, and someone actually, when I was explaining to them what I had done in the corporate world, they said, so really you were an intrapreneur in the corporate world, weren't you? And it's like, yes, I was. That's a good observation. But I've had my own business since 2010, and I'm a professional EOS implementer. And EOS stands for the Entrepreneurial Operating System. So with that, I just help owners and leadership teams of small businesses, typically 10 to 250 employees, get what they want from their business and really see it grow both financially and operationally. But what I'm here to talk to you about today is the Advisory Network for Small Businesses. And I'm excited because you are the first to hear about our new organization. And what our new organization does, if we can go to the next slide, please, Alex, is we bring some one-on-one support, very personalized support. I think it's been fabulous to hear about all the programs that have already been presented by Kitty and Anna and Kim and so forth. And they're a program that supports many owners at the same time. And what our program will do is really provide one-on-one support. We're always meeting individually with the individual owner that we support. But owners are often trying to find, how can they get external support? What are the options? And you can see that there are a few options here on this slide. Certainly you can go to a consultant, and oftentimes they're really helping with a particular pain point. And once they work on that project with you, then oftentimes their work is done. Another a little bit more long-term offer for some external support is to have a coach, a business coach that can really be a mentor for you for whatever period of time that you've asked them to stay on. And oftentimes they're helping you more with leadership issues, sometimes with business issues, but oftentimes business coaches are more focused on the leadership aspect of the individual that they're coaching. Whereas advisory boards and boards of directors are looking at the entire business rather than an individual pain point or just some leadership opportunities. But the difference between an advisory board and a board of directors, the biggest difference is that an advisory board has no fiduciary responsibility. And they also do not give the business owner decisions. They don't say, this is what you have to do. Whereas a board of directors, they do have that fiduciary responsibility, and consequently, they do give direction to the owner and say, this is what you need to do, some changes that you need to make in the business and so forth. Advisory boards also typically are comprised of somewhere between 3 to 5 professionals that are focused in on the challenges that that owner is facing and so forth. And they can either be selected by the advisory board if the individual's owner is putting a board together themselves, or sometimes there are organizations such as the one that Therese and I are here to represent, Advisory Network for Small Businesses, that will really put together that advisory board, show it to the owner, let them see the bios of the individuals that they are recommending for that advisory board, and give the owner the last say as to whether or not, yes, they feel comfortable with those individuals on their advisory board. Because if the owner is not 110% comfortable with the individuals that are going to be serving on their advisory board, then they're not going to get the most out of it, because you have to be able to really share the good, bad, and the ugly, as I always like to say, with your advisory board. You need to tell them their challenges so that they can give you some good advice. So if you'll do a little tab there, Alex, please. What I want to talk to you about today is the advisory board. So going to the next slide, the Advisory Network for Small Business is, as I said, it is a brand new organization. You are the first to hear about it, but you will start seeing a lot more information about it in the coming weeks and so forth. But even though the organization is new, our purpose is to help small business owners and to really give them advice, offer them to give advice that we think could move their business forward, but it's up to the owner which of those pieces of advice they want to act upon. So we're just making suggestions, the owner makes the decisions. And even though the organization is new, the individuals that are governing this organization, our board of directors of the Advisory Network of Small Businesses, they are not new to advisory boards, and nor are they new to the industry. Right now, we have 14 professionals that are serving on our board of directors, all of whom have experience serving on paid as well as pro bono advisory boards, and also who have a lot of experience in their area of expertise. We have individuals that are in the HR discipline, legal, accounting, strategy, business operations, marketing, sales, and so forth. So we have a wide range of experience. And because we have so many members on our board of directors, we have a very broad network of professionals who we can then pull in to ask to serve on the advisory boards for owners that are applying for our program. So the advisory boards that we offer are a 1-year period of time, and there are meetings every 6 weeks. So 4 of those meetings will be 2-hour in-person meetings, and 3 of those meetings will be a 1-hour conference call, just to kind of have a checkpoint in between the in-person meetings. But each of those advisory boards that we put together for the business owners are absolutely customized to the specific needs of that business owner. Some of our business owners may have more of a need with personnel issues because of the size of their business, or maybe they're trying to really grow and they're at that point where they're trying to decide, do I quit being the salesperson as the business owner, and do I bring on a sales rep to help me drive my business forward? So we can really, as we interview you, if you're interested in an advisory board, we really want to make sure that we understand the challenges of your business, and then we package an advisory board that will help you address and work through some of those challenges. That's part of what we do in our application process to make sure that the advisory board we put together is a good fit for you. And again, as I mentioned, the owner has the final say in who serves on that advisory board, so that you are absolutely comfortable sharing everything with you. We do have a nominal fee, but it's as little as $1,200 and the maximum is $3,000, but it's all based on your revenues, for your annual revenues. And it's interesting too, our eligibility requirements are very similar to those that Kim just mentioned for the SBA's Emerging Business Program. But if you'll go to the next slide, Alex, I have just a little bit more detail in how we do the advisory board. So as I already mentioned, we have 4 quarterly in-person meetings, and those in-person meetings are with everyone that's serving on your advisory board and the business owner, not anyone else from the business, but just the business owner. Again, we're trying to give the one-on-one attention to you. And also 3 one-hour conference calls in between the in-person meetings. But regardless of whether it's an in-person meeting or a conference call, we are always focusing on your financials. So you as the business owner will be responsible to providing financial updates to your board, your advisory board, and reviewing those with you. You also will be working with a mentor from our board of directors from the Advisory Network of Small Businesses to help you put together the agenda for each of those meetings, so that we're making sure that your advisory board is really honing in on the challenges that are most pressing to you at that time. And as we, as an advisory board, and you work through those challenges on your agenda, at the end of the agenda, you're always going to have homework. And so one of the first things that we do after we review the financials at your next advisory meeting is we go through and ask you, how did you do on the actions that were your homework from the last time? And then we get into solving some of the challenges and offering you some advice on the current challenges that you're addressing. So it's a very methodical way that we go through, but it's also a very personalized to make sure we're helping you deal with the challenges that you yourself are dealing with at this time. And again, the advice is yours to use or not. Hopefully, if you're asking for an advisory board, you're open to advice, but again, it's your final decision. And everyone that serves on your advisory board is doing so pro bono. Nobody gets even $1 for their service. They are doing it to give back to the business community because they want to see entrepreneurship grow in our Philadelphia area. So typically you're getting somewhere between 50 and 60 hours of pro bono service. Even though they're offering pro bono, there's just that nominal fee that you pay one time for all of this expertise. So in closing, just the final slide, you'll see our contact. Oh, I'm sorry. There's some feedback that we've gotten. These are some quotes that you've seen from some individuals that have sat on advisory boards that the various members of the board of directors have assisted in the past. But you can see having an advisory board is extremely helpful to the business owner. Sometimes you are so mired being in the business that you don't have a chance to get on top of the business and work on the business. So when you have these advisors coming in working with you, sometimes they notice some things that you don't. And oftentimes, again, they're a team that you can brainstorm with to find solutions and to work forward with. So if you are interested, going to the next slide, I can share with you, our website is very new, but if you go to the URL there, visit our website, you can enter your contact information. And as we are in a position to offer more and more information to you, we will forward that to you. But we're very excited to have this available for the business community in Philadelphia. And Therese, serving on our board of directors, she would be a great contact point, even though my contact information is in the chat and I'm happy to help you. Therese is our relationship manager for our relationship with PIDC. So thank you for your time and thank you for this opportunity to share this exciting news about our organization.
Thank you. Thank you, Maria. And yes, I think it's exciting that we have this new program, which should actually, I think, be very helpful. What we've often found is that advisory boards are very helpful, but it's very difficult for many small business owners to actually put them together if they're going to be as helpful and as diverse as really someone needs them to be. So I'm hopeful that this organization can fill in that need for a lot of businesses. And now I'd like to introduce Rebecca Ray, who is going to talk about a resource in our business community that just could not be more fundamental to every business owner at every stage. And Rebecca, we're very fortunate to have, because she has been with the Business Research and Innovation Center at the Free Library of Philadelphia since its beginning. And she's also very experienced with webinars. So I'm going to turn this over to Rebecca and to Alex. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. My name is Rebecca Ray. I'm from the Business Resource and Innovation Center. We are located physically at the Parkway Central Library, 1901 Vine Street, and we're part of the 54 branch system, the Free Library of Philadelphia. We are very delighted that we are going to be able to reopen on July 6th without limitation, which we've been but today I'm going to be talking a lot about how we have pivoted to the virtual world, which we all did a year ago, and that there have been some real silver linings for that. So I'm going to be telling you a lot about virtual programs that you can access. This the slide that you see right now. I should also say I have been a business owner. I've had a retail book, toy and craft business, and I've also had a bed and breakfast in the past. I no longer operate those, but I'm very aware of many of the challenges of owning a business. So that has helped me in setting up our programs at the Free Library. This page is the landing page for the Free Library of Philadelphia for all of our locations. And I'd like to point out in the upper right corner that you can get a library card. This is for all virtual services and all digital services. And you're going to need that to access many of the things I'm going to tell you about today. It is free for anyone who lives, works, goes to school, or pays taxes in Pennsylvania. So that's a really important thing for you to notice and take care of if you would like to access some of the resources I'm going to tell you about. And also this on this page is the way, the easiest way to access the landing page for the BRIC, we affectionately known as the BRIC, the Business Resource and Innovation Center. You're gonna, when you go to the Free Libraries page, which is freelibrary.org, that's really simple to remember. I know it'll be in the chat and you'll get the slides, but you don't have to remember much of what I say today if you remember that, because everything is there. The Free Library of Philadelphia, as every public library, is your on-ramp to everything. You've heard about many programs today, and we partner with all of the folks who you've heard from today. The Free Library is your on-ramp wherever you're starting. So I just want to emphasize that you can start with us. And especially now that so much is online, it's all free, of course, and self-paced. So if you feel like, if you're feeling a little overwhelmed and wondering like, how do I tap into the wonderful services I've heard from today? We can help with that. We can help get you started. We call ourselves the Sherpas. We carry you along, we meet you where you are and carry you where you need to go and where you want to go. So I just want to start out by saying that. So get your library card, because the library card is the key to everything. And you need that. So up on the gray banner that you see about a quarter of the way down the page, you are going to click on Programs and Services, and that will take you to a list. And there you will see the Business Resource and Innovation Center. You're going to click on that. The next slide, if you would change to that, please, is our landing page for the Business Resource and Innovation Center. And you'll notice another banner about a quarter of the way down. We have 4 service areas: business, nonprofit, careers, and patent and trademark. We assist people I want to give a little plug for that last one there. We assist people in getting trademarks for their business and patents. We have a librarian who specializes in that, in the research. And it's very unique and special. And we're one of 3 in Pennsylvania. So today I'm going to emphasize the business landing page. So what you do then is on this page, you click on business. So if you'd move to the next slide, we'll look at that page. So this is the page that is dedicated to entrepreneurs. And that's what I'm going to emphasize today. Any of those, you can go back if you are in a nonprofit or you're interested in the patent or trademark, you can go back and look at those. You don't need a library card to look at the website, but you're going to need it for the things I'm going to show you in a minute. So this is the introductory page for business services. And what is here is all of everything's collected for you to click on. So you can start here and go to lots of places. I want to point out the green bar about a quarter of the way from the bottom. It does say request an appointment. We have very limited resources. In fact, we just lost one of our librarians who was an entrepreneur and is leaving the free library to go and work on her business. Sad for us, happy for her. So we're very limited in the number of appointments we can give, but we do offer appointments for people who have taken some of our online classes. So I'll be telling you more about that in a minute. I want to point that out. This is the introductory page. And if you go to the next slide, please. This is some of the resources that we offer. I hope this isn't too small for you, or you can enlarge it, because you can click on any of these links. It takes you to, for example, you can do a business model canvas. If you've ever are familiar with that, that helps you sort of just organize your thinking if you're thinking of starting a business. There are many resources here. The thing I'm going to emphasize today is our classes and our databases. So we'll move on to the next slide and talk about our databases. Here I would like to say that some of our most powerful and I'll say expensive, we buy these on your behalf with tax dollars and also grant money. Most of our most powerful resources, the 2 I'm going to show you today, Simply Analytics and the Gale Small Business Builder, were only available when you came to the library until a year ago, April. Guess what? Nobody could come into the library starting last April, very much. So we negotiated and on your behalf received remote access to these resources. That's why you need your library card to get them. So we took care of that for you. And now you can gain access to these databases with your library card from the comfort of your home or office. So that is a new thing, and we hope to perpetuate that for a long time. Look at this list, and I'll tell you a little bit about each of them, and then I'll dive into a couple of them. Data Axle Reference Solutions is a very powerful tool, and there are 2 of them here, where you can actually find customer lists that are delineated by location and type of customer you're looking for. So that's pretty amazing, and it's all free. Remember that. Simply Analytics is the best demographic tool we've found, and we've looked at a lot of them. And you can set up filters. Once you have you're going to set up an account in any of these with your library card. You'll set up your unique account, and you can actually save data. So Simply Analytics is an amazing tool. Mergent Intellect is research about companies. Gale and Gale eBooks is, there are samples of business plans there, including financials that you can look at. Gale Small Business Builder is, we just got this for the first time about 3 years ago. This is, you set up your own account and you can save your own information about all of your business planning with resources to link to. So it's an amazing resource. I hope all of you will set up an account and enjoy this resource. And then Linda Online Learning with Linda and Universal Class. If you have any skills you need, math, accounting, social media, it's in Linda, and it's an amazing source. The free library is paying for you for this for you. Please take advantage of it. So please show the next slide. Simply analytics. So I just, I'm not going to connect because, you know, this isn't even a live slide, but there are, for all of those resources, we have embedded tutorials for them for you. So you don't have to figure it out on your own how to use these resources. You go into the tutorial, which is right on our page, click on it, go there, and you're instructed in how to use it, how to use the resource. So that's Simply Analytics. As I said, that's a demographic tool. Please go to the next slide. Gale Small Business Builder tutorial. This shows you, this is the landing page for it. You're actually going to a database from our website. If you're a new entrepreneur, you're going to start on the left. Experienced business owners, click on the middle, and nonprofits start on the right. So that's the default is you choose your default. So on to the next slide, please. We have classes. So we have spent quite a bit of this pandemic time creating YouTube videos. We used to have live classes. They were wonderful. We loved the networking. We always had, had snacks, but we can't do that right now, or haven't been able to. So we have developed our basic classes for you to look at online. So we encourage people to look at the classes before they request an individualized appointment, because these classes also, along with the tutorials, demonstrate how to benefit from those databases. So you'll notice we have our basic business planning. This class utilizes the business model canvas, an introduction to market research, creating a competitive analysis, an introduction to demographic research, finding your target audience. Very essential skill. Move on to the next page, please. Slide. And I'll say that you can request an appointment. You can also send an email. If you have a very specific question, we have librarians who are available by email, phone. We now have people there Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. We used to have evening hours. We're still trying to figure that out. But you can certainly call during those hours. But email is the best, because then you'll get the expert response and a thoughtful response that you're looking for. So we are your on-ramp. We are the People's University. We are the place to start. We are here to help you. And we have pivoted to the virtual world and have mostly enjoyed it. We see ourselves as a hybrid environment from now on. We hope to get back to real life programs, because those are really wonderful. And bring you to our beautiful new spot that just opened in April of 2019. So I will be glad to take questions in the Q&A, but that's the end of my introduction.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rebecca. You really do have support for everyone all the time. And I'll remind everyone that the recording is available, which in the times of COVID, a lot of our people who sign up will probably view the recording later. We'll only have time for a few questions. And I want to say that we have yet another wonderful program. Maura Schenker, who is the director of the Temple SBDC, the Small Business Development Center, I know is with us, and I think Alex is getting ready to bring Maura into our screens and into our webinar. Yes, Alex, have you brought Maura in to talk about the Digital Connect?
Yes, she has. I'm right here. Thank you, Therese.
Thank you. Welcome, Maura.
Thank you. This is so exciting, and I'm so happy to see so many partners here, because as it's been said, there is an ecosystem to support small business owners in our region, and we all work together, and we each have something unique to offer, and we share clients. And I want everybody here to understand they don't have to choose any single one of these programs. We all work together, we all offer something different and at different times, and it's important to connect with all of us, I think. So I'm going to talk specifically about our digital solutions for small business, which we were able to fund through the SBA CARES grant. So everything I'm about to say is offered at no cost to you as business owners. And we are running a very robust digital solution program. Everybody moved online, and a lot of people are not necessarily moving back. And I don't think that the post-pandemic world is going to look like the pre-pandemic world did as far as where you do your business. So we are running all kinds of programs. This one is actually one of the rare ones where we'll do the work for you. So we have teams of students overseen by faculty members who will create a website for you, who will get you online with e-commerce, who will do the SEO optimization for you, who will help you with cybersecurity, who will, if you have an existing website, they will conduct a e-commerce and website assessment to see where you are. So wherever you are, we will make sure that your website is secure and optimized. If you don't have a website, we will help you get started. We even have programs specifically around international e-commerce, because we know that many business owners, their concern right now is expanding their customer base and finding new consumers. So we will help you with a new marketing strategy, work internationally. We are also doing things like how to set up an Etsy store. So a 3-part webinar using Constant Contact, using LinkedIn, every social media platform. We have a manufacturing e-commerce series, so that if you are a producer of goods, how do you effectively sell on Amazon? How can you get on Alibaba and expand into a global marketplace? So all of those services are at no cost. We do a heck of a lot more, but just come see us. There's a little bit.ly link, and the slide will out.
Well, thank you so much, Maura, and another good friend and an old friend. I've known the Temple SBDC for decades. And I know your services go beyond this, but we have your flyer, which we'll also be able to include in the materials we send out to our participants. I want to tell everybody to whom I promised a long Q&A period that we have 3 minutes left. So I'm going to suggest a couple things. One, if you have a question that you've been wanting to ask, please write it in the chat manager. And if we don't have time to address it during the webinar, I will send it out to our participants, and we'll get it answered for you. I do know that we have one person, Carl, left, but Michelle did raise her hand, so she's going to get to have our first question. So Alex, could you please have Michelle Simone be able to have the floor and ask a question? I know she raised it during Kim's presentation.
Michelle, you should be good to go.
Michelle, are you still here? I think Michelle is not still here.
Yes, I agree.
So we should just ask, do any of those of you who are still here have questions that you would like to articulate? Just raise your hand. We'll give you like 30 seconds. And while we're waiting, let me turn this back over to Marla from PIDC. Marla, are you able to join me in thanking all of our panelists and really saying I look forward to working together with everybody and with Maura from the Temple SBDC, as well as with all of our audience.
I see Tracy Berry has her hand raised, so if we can unmute Tracy really quickly. Alex and Tracy, you can ask your question either
Hi,
to.
Thank you so much. I was just wondering, the Temple Digital Connect program, is that something that you can apply for at any time?
Yes,
Or
it is.
Oh, great.
It's open and it's one-on-one, so it's not a cohort. Just give us a call.
Oh, awesome. I have to say, I take so many Temple classes and courses. It's just fantastic what you do.
I'm
Really
so glad to
terrific.
hear that. We're here to help.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Tracy. That's a great endorsement of the kinds of services and level of services that you get at Temple University. So I want to just take this time to thank everyone. It is 11:32. Thank you to all of our participants. Thank you to all of the business owners, the entrepreneurs, the budding entrepreneurs. There is information here to meet you where you are. If you're just getting started, make sure you're going to the free library, make sure you're going to the Temple University Small Business Development Center. If you're a few years old, make sure you are signing up for Power Up Your Business. If you are a more seasoned entrepreneur, then you want to make sure that you are looking to establish boards. You know, boards can be mentors who you've had. Maybe I have one client on their board is the person they used to work for, a previous manager. And so don't think that you don't already have people in your circle or that you're connected to who could serve on a board. What is most important is that you listen to more than just yourself. Also with the Small Business Administration, the Emerging Business Program. So you're talking about businesses that are more seasoned. So again, on this program, we were fortunate to have something that meets the needs of every business, no matter the life cycle of your business. And every business, every single business, regardless of your size, you need to make it your business to sign up and schedule that appointment at the Free Libraries Business Resource and Innovation Center. The amount of resources and data, the analytics that are available at the Free Library are for every single business, regardless of the size. So with that, I want to really thank Therese Flaherty for pulling this all together on behalf of us. And remember, on tomorrow at 12:30, we will host again the Small Business Administration that will talk about the changes that have occurred just since Tuesday. And so please make sure you register for that on the PIDC website. Once you get on the website to sign up for tomorrow's webinar, make sure you're signing up for the newsletter, and then you are following us on all of the social media platforms. I want to thank Witty Gritty, who is assisting us in the tech, in the back office. So to Marcus and Alexandra, thank you so much. And with that, we look forward to seeing you soon. Again, thank you so much. Happy Wednesday and have a great day.